This is called the RunCam2, and interestingly enough here, it's got the voltage, the input voltage for the direct current. 5 to 17 volts. Now that's different because most of them only take 5 volts. So this can have up to 17 volts. You might be able to put a 12 volt battery on it to power it. Field of view, it's already got 120 right there. 120 degrees, and movie format here, 1080p, 60 frames a second. It's got Wi-Fi, and it's a sample. So there we go. So here's what comes in the box. First we have the directions, which surprisingly has a pretty good English translation. Then we have the camera itself, and we have the battery, which is now removable. It's an 850 milliamp hour Li-ion battery. That's lithium ion. And there's a cover to cover up the battery once you get it in there. It did not come with a memory card, so you'll have to get an SD card, probably about a 16 gig, but it will take greater than that, I think up to 64. There is a tray, so you got a camera tray you can use, and there's a couple of adapters. One adapter, you can just use this to convert to some of the mounts that you see for like the GoPros and other GoPro cameras. Then there's one here for a tripod. We also have a couple of straps for strapping your camera down, and some Velcro to mount the camera on whatever vehicle you want to put it on. There's a video cable here. This adapts the video to an RCA plug, maybe to go to a monitor. And then you have a cable here which is a combo of the power, which is now able to go up to 17 volts, so you could probably run it off 12 volts. Also has the video. And this just plugs into the camera, into the USB port, which is on the back. And then we have a USB cable that you can use to also charge it or get the files off it. So that's basically what's in the package right there. So let's put the battery into the camera and get the battery charged up, and then we'll test it out. So the camera is charging right now, and the red light here is on while it's charging. It took about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and now it's fully charged. The light is now out completely. I'm going to put a memory card in it now and go ahead and try it out. So the memory card inserts upside down as it does on the other models. Very easy to insert. Once the card is inserted, you can put the cover on the back, and that keeps the card from popping out. So how much does it weigh? 50.3 grams. Opposed to maybe this one, 46 grams. Or this one, 50.6 grams. Very similar to the Legend 1. So here's the size compared to some other cameras. Here's the Mobius, and here's the previous RunCam. So you can see as far as the Mobius goes, I could take this off just to make it fair. So it's actually maybe a little shorter than the Mobius, but it's a little thicker, a little deeper, you know, and definitely a little wider. It will not fit in my Mobius pan tilt. The old RunCam would go in there. Fits fine on the CXN pan tilt for my Twin Star. Sure wish it had a lens cap. I keep getting the lens all smeared. Mine has a problem that when I turn it on, holding the button for 3 seconds, and then go to record by tapping the button, sometimes it just locks up like that instead of blinking on and off. And I try to shut it off, and it won't shut off. And the only way to shut it off is to take off the cover and then pull out the battery. That recycles the power. Now I can start it up again and try to record again. And this time it started to record, but the light went out. Now It's not working, so let's pull it out, put it back in, start it up, press the button again, and now it's recording. So it's kind of intermittent. So I took the camera apart to see if I could figure out why it was locking up when I tried to record, and this is what I got here. I don't really see anything wrong, but maybe if I put it back together it'll work. But while we got it apart, let's just take a look here. I don't know if you can see, but right here it says this is the Wi-Fi module. So this is actually the Wi-Fi transceiver right there. That little daughter board that's on the motherboard. And this one over here, I'm not sure about. It isn't labeled, but it could be some sort of power supply or something. And it's adjacent to the vent holes on the case. So here's the vent holes. So both of those boards are cooled by those vent holes. And as well as that, it seems like they've got plenty of shielding. This is where the SD card goes in, and other components are shielded, so that must be how they get the low noise on this, because it doesn't seem to have much noise as far as UHF or anything like that. And that might be how they do it. Lots of shielding. There's actually no copper shield or copper spray on the case or anything like the other versions, but that's all I can tell right now. Okay, I don't see anything wrong. The buttons here seem fine. They click good. I didn't see any solder bridges or anything like that, so I don't know. I'll put it back together and see what it does. Alright, let's try it out and see if it works now. Now go to record. No, still locks up. And if I try to turn it off, it will not turn off. Well, let's see how it works directly off a 12 volt LiPo. So I'm going to plug in the USB port plug, and I've got a little header here I'm going to use to plug on the battery. So there's the 12 volt LiPo. Got power. Let's go ahead and turn it on. There it is. Now let's try to record. And it locked up. I guess we didn't get it. So it still didn't really work. It's still intermittent, even running off a 12 volt LiPo. So I don't think it's the internal battery that's the problem. Let's see, we can't shut it off now, obviously. So the only way to shut it off is to unplug the battery power and then just go ahead and pull out the battery. Well, let's just try it now. See what happens. And try to record. Okay, so now it's working. So it's just intermittent. Not sure what is doing it. Turning it off. So that was a normal cycle that time. Well, one of the new features about this camera, besides the 60 frames a second, is that it has wireless. So let's give that a try. So I have the new RunCam wireless app installed on my tablet right here. This is an Android app. I'm not sure that they have one for the Apple iOS yet, but this one works on Android. So I have that installed right here. But first we got to connect the camera to the tablet, or really it's connecting the tablet to the camera. Okay, let's just go to our settings menu right here and open up our wireless connections. Wi-Fi right here. Okay, now we'll go ahead and start the camera. So press the power button for 3 seconds to turn it on. Now just briefly tap the Wi-Fi button and you'll see it blinking. Now before it quits blinking, go to the RunCam wireless connection and hit connect. Alright, it's obtaining IP address, and now it's connected. Alright, now that that's done, we can go back to run the RunCam app right here. Alright, once that comes up, you can see that we now have a connection and we have a preview. So I can look around the room. Okay, let's take a look down here at the bottom, and you'll see that it's in video mode right here. You can see the video camera is lit up right here. And that icon's on. If you press the red button, you can do a recording, a video recording. You can also put it into picture mode, which is this one right here. If I can get it over there. There we go. And if you press the button here, it'll take a picture. You can just do that and it takes a picture. There we go, and you can see the camera went green into picture mode. And take another picture. Now let's go back to video mode. Right there. Now we got the record button here. And the blue light is now on instead of the green light. So that's basically how it works. You can also go in here, and there's a few settings. When you press FHD, you can change the resolution right here. Now, let's just look at the latency on the wireless. Now this is on the wireless. You can see that's, as I wave my hand in front of it, it's kind of slow on the wireless. Okay, so also in the wireless mode you have a gear icon right over here where you can change the various settings. So you can do, for example, white balance right here is on auto right now, and you could change it to daylight, cloudy, fluorescent, or incandescent lighting, like that. And then there's other things like the frequency is actually got 50 Hertz right here. You could go to 60 Hertz if you want to, like if I do that. And we got some of the other features that are also offered in the on-screen menu. So, you know, slow motion, upside down, and things like that. And your Wi-Fi configuration is right here. So you could change the password if you wanted to. Things like that. Next, using the provided cables, let's get into settings mode on the monitor. So I'm going to take the video out right here and plug it into our adapter, which goes over here to the RCA plug. And then I'm going to plug the RCA plug into the video cord for the monitor. Then I'm going to plug the USB connection in, like that. And then we'll turn on the camera by holding the power button for 3 seconds. And when we do that, we have a picture on the monitor right here. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and get into the settings mode. Right now we're just in preview mode. Well, while I'm in preview mode, we could take a look at the latency in preview mode on the monitor. This is with the analog signal. I'll run my hand in front of it. You can see that's pretty fast. I think this is probably one of the fastest cameras I've seen as far as a CMOS action camera. So it's got very low latency, so that's a good thing if you're going to use it for FPV. Alright, now we need to long press what was the Wi-Fi button. You know what's interesting about this, if you actually go into Wi-Fi mode, just hit it once, it says Wi-Fi on, and it gives you your password. So if you forget your password, you can find out what it is this way. Now if I hit it again, it says Wi-Fi off, and we go back to preview mode. Now what we want to do, instead of short pressing the button, what we want to do is long press it. Now if we long press it, now we're into taking a picture. You can see the green light, but we want to get into the menu mode or settings mode. So I'm going to long press it again. There we go. Now we're in the menu mode, and right now we can scroll down through the menus. There is the movie size, wide angle, digital IS, and that's the stabilization. So if you want to turn the stabilization on, you can do that. This camera features stabilization. Whether you want it or not is up to you. Sometimes stabilization, if you're panning, can look kind of jerky. Other times it's very preferable. If you're just going around taking a video in your local area, you may want to put that on. Now you go down again, you can have the buttons beeping, which they already are, and then you got loop recording. Okay, so I went down a little further. We've got auto recording is off up here. Image flip is off, so you can actually flip the image if you want. You can also have the image automatically flip with the G sensor if you turn that on. And then you got the power saving, which I turned off previously. Now to go into one of the menus, you hit the Wi-Fi button like that, and if I want to turn the power saving back on, say I wanted to turn off in 3 minutes, I'll just do that, hit the Wi-Fi button again. Now it's got 3 minutes. And that's your metering mode, where you can have it meter in the center, the average, or a spot metering. That might be good if you've got a bright light and a dark background and you want it to focus on the dark background. Maybe you'd use the spot so you could meter on the dark section that you want to look at. Okay, so that's basically how it works. You use the Wi-Fi button to back out. It says down here at the bottom, actually, Wi-Fi, enter back, and power button is next. So that's all there is to it. And I just wanted to show you that feature while you have it hooked to the monitor with the analog video cable. So now I'm going to turn it off. Just holding the button for 3 seconds. There it goes off. Okay, let's just record a short video here. What we have to do is hold the power button for 3 seconds till it comes on, and then just tap it to get the unit recording, and you can see it blinking on and off, so now it's recording. Looks pretty good in here. I don't have the light on there, but I do over here. You can see the difference. And now let's go into the darker section of the basement. Okay, so this is the new RunCam here on the right, and then over here on the left we have the old RunCam. Okay, going through here. Now you can see these walls are yellow, so if they're coming through yellow, that's normal. There's no light down here except for that window over there and maybe the door.
And the other window, and the other window.
Yeah. So hopefully you can hear the difference in my voice. You know, it's not on the camcorder anymore, it's coming through the RunCam. And usually it's a lot fainter going through the RunCam. Alright, so just going around the basement here, you can see all the junk. Or maybe you can't. Like I look back in here, you may not be able to see that. I don't know. But we'll compare the two cameras and see. Okay. Just going to go around here. Moving around. Here's the outside there. Don't know if you can see any of the items on the desk or on the bench. Right there. Alright. And now looking back away from the light, you should maybe be able to see some things there. So that's about it right there. I'll go ahead and stop both cameras. You can hear my voice. Now this isn't the camcorder, this is actually my voice through the RunCam2, so you can listen to the sound quality. I'm having to get pretty close to it to get enough volume. Okay, so I'm about 3 feet away now. Into about 2 feet. That's about 1 foot. Now 6 inches. Now only about an inch away. That's all the way in. Now just backing out. Here's looking away from the sun right here. You can see that picture. And here's looking up at the sun. Now I'll just aim it towards the dark area in front of the sun so you can see how the dynamic range works. And move back and forth so you can see any aberrations that might occur. Go up and down. Okay, now let's just do a quick field of view test. Okay, so that's a field of view. It's about 120 degrees according to the manual. So here's some flight video for you. This is at some of the worst conditions you could get for a camera. Right at sunset with the sun just peeking over the hills. And you can see that the RunCam is picking up some of the details in the shadows even so. There's the sun on the horizon. And you can still see some details at the ground level, so that's pretty good. And then when you look away from the sun, you can see much better, of course. So it looks like the dynamic range of the camera is working pretty well. I'm happy with it. Just wish I could get one that doesn't lock up on me when I try to record. Hopefully RunCam will send me a new one. After all, it is just a sample. And I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any questions, you can just leave me a comment under the video. And we'll see you next time. Here, play.